Did cancel culture scare you away?
Cancel culture made me not really want to do stand-up. I had this long conversation with Dave Chappelle. He's like, man, we need you. Get back out there, man. We need that voice. Come on. And I was like, and I had done it again at his, him encouraging me to do it. But, today you can't be a shock comic.
No.
Especially if you're famous.
Right.
Because they hit you in your pockets, right? So back in the day, guys like Sam Kinison and Dice Clay, and that's how I grew up. I grew up with guys that, start trouble. And they say, and it's like people, they want to talk about comedy. You got reporters talking about comedy. You don't know my world. You are not qualified to talk about comedy. If you ain't never bought a joke or told a joke or sold a joke or stole a joke.
Or wrote a joke.
You have no business talking about comedy.
Okay.
You ain't never been paid in burgers. You can't talk about comedy. So I think a conversation about comedy and what's acceptable should be held amongst comedians.
Right.
If Dave Chappelle wants to talk to me about my act, I want to hear it. If Jerry Seinfeld, if Jay Leno, guys who've done it, I want to hear what you say, because you're going to do it in a way to encourage, right? Not to just tell me you can't. I ain't never put on a football helmet and got hit by no guy your size and got up and did it again. What can I talk to you about football? Just because I watch some games?
Right.
I can watch 1,000 games and I can't tell you what a locker room smell like. You know what I mean? Right. I don't know the camaraderie sitting on that plane, flying into bad weather. I haven't experienced that, so I can't talk to you intelligently about it. Same thing with comedy. It's a conversation for comedians, not reporters.
But Chappelle has been one of the few guys that have been able to beat cancel culture, because they can't take, because, normally, like you said, they hit you in the purse. But he's like, well, hey, I just put up a .com and I just go do it. I don't need Hollywood. I don't need to do movies anymore. So you can't really hit me where it hurts me, which is financially.
It's also, he's a unicorn, right? And Dave has rode the wave, right? Of, he didn't take any breaks. It's when you take the break and then you try to come back.
Okay.
Then they can hit you and get you, because he already knows how to talk to them. They're his puppets. You know what I mean? They bow to Dave Chappelle because he is the only real voice out there in terms of holding us down, holding comedy down. So, but you can't be a shock comedian. Today you have to have a conversation. Like, I could do stand-up again, but it's like understanding you can't go on stage. You should be able to go, man, I hate my wife. And then now you say I hate, and you hear women, and it's like, but if you go on stage and go, I don't understand women.
Right.
That's different. Now the guard is down. Help me understand why women say
and behave in the manner in which they behave. Yeah.
It's a conversation, not a proclamation.
Right.
So I could do it, but I like going on stage and say I hate. I want to hate stuff.
When Versus was out, you like to do a Versus.
I was just having a conversation with somebody on the radio and go, have you ever thought about a Versus? And I said Dave Chappelle, because I think Dave Chappelle is like, he's on top. Who should I say? I don't want to dog anybody here, but I'm a great comedian.
Right.
So I would do a Versus against another great comedian.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all I was saying, but they took it out of.
They took it out of context.
Yeah.
With Trump being in office, the PC culture, because now people feel very comfortable doing pretty much anything. Are you okay with that?
I'd rather know
how you feel, what you think.
Yeah. I'd rather say, no, you don't have the job. Or say, no, you got the job.
Right.
As opposed to, no, black person, we don't want you to work.
Right.
Right. So I think it's, we've lost our way, I think, as a society. And we're so, I call it the bitchification of men, where you don't, it's like everybody is, I don't know, just soft.
Yes.
And they're soft about
Everybody's
everything.
scared to say how they really feel.
Yeah, it's like what's wrong with telling the truth? Say it. Say the truth. At least I know where to go, or where not to go.
Joe Rogan said you need better friends. You needed somebody to tell you, say, Damon, get your ass back on stage, man. You too good to be housed up, holed up in a house, writing, put that writing, and go do a set.
I love Joe Rogan. I've actually stolen a joke from Joe Rogan.
You stole his joke?
Yeah, but
You know how people feel about stealing jokes now.
No, not intentionally. So here's what happens with comedians is like this is why I don't watch comics, is because you can't help but have that writer on in your brain go, oh, if he'd have done that, right? So the school I grew up in, if you watch the comedian do something on stage and then after he comes off, you go, I got a tag for you. And you give him that joke that you wrote in your head because that's his.
Right.
So when I was coming up, there was like, we go to this place called Cantor's, the little dive on Fairfax. And after the clubs closed down like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Jerry Seinfeld would be at a table, and Jay Leno and my brother and Robert Townsend. And we were poor. We eating French fries, sharing some French fries. That's how broke we were. But what would happen is Jay would come over and go, hey, Keenan, I saw you do this joke. And then I was thinking of that. And then Keenan would get up and go and tell Jerry. And Jerry would come over and tell Arsenio, and it was like a community. And if another comedian was on stage doing somebody else's act, they would yell up, that's Jeff Cesario.
Really?
In the middle of your act. Yep. I was there the night Joe Rogan was going to beat up Carlos Mencia.
He stole a joke.
Yeah. And he told, and Carlos said, hey, it worked for you. And Joe
I like that. I like that.
You're so stupid. I can't even hit you because you just really believe that.
I don't know if you watched the interview, but you've heard it. Cat sat down with me about a year ago.
Oh, the world heard it.
And people got upset with me, Damon, because they say, well, you should have defended this, you should have defended that, or you shouldn't have. All I did was ask him a question.
Right.
I didn't know that there was so much animosity or beef between comedians. I don't think the world knew it. The comedic world knew it because you live in that, like you said, you live in that world. Right. So you know what guys and gals don't get along with each other. When you heard the interview, tell me what went through your mind.
I laughed. Because Cat is funny. Cat is one of the fewest comedians that in one word you know who it is. Amara. As soon as he opens his mouth. Him, Wanda Sykes, Chris Rock.
Yep.
That means you have a clear and distinctive voice. Right?
Right.
So when I watch a comedian, I'm watching funny. I'm watching what's going on behind his eyes when he goes, and he reaches for his drink. And then he starts, and he's thinking funny.
Right.
He's really roasting these guys.
Right.
People took it, like personal, like he was just having fun.
Right.
Got that liquor in him, had the fire going behind him, he was like feeling stuff. I personally don't think it's that. I feel like we're a fraternity, and there's enough stuff going on out there for you to be talking about instead of talking about what's going on in here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, I like I said, I think it's funny, but everybody steals jokes.
Right.
It's like, it's not stealing the joke. It's once you know it's not yours and you keep doing it, that's the crime. Because this is, it's funny how it works. The mind just works and it's grabbing stuff, especially for, people who don't write jokes.
Right.
They just go up on stage and talk.
Right.
Cat Williams talks, Steve Harvey, that's you just talk.
Right.
It's almost like being an MC and you're going, hey, where you from? What you do? And the first thing that comes to mind is what you say. But sometimes you saying the first thing that came to your mind is somebody else's joke.
Do you have to give, if you steal somebody's joke, do you have to give them credit for it?
No, you know, Robin Williams was a notorious thief. I ain't lying. His manager used to walk around with a checkbook. And Robin would come off stage and comedian would say, hey, he just took my name to write him a check, $75.
Damn.
Because he knew Robin was all stream of conscious. And he would steal material. He was known. Comedians would go, I'm not going on because Robin's here.
Right.
You know, but it happens.
Right.
But I always look at like comedy like this. If it's not the last joke I'm ever going to tell, I ain't going to treat it like that.
Oh, okay.
You ain't take my wife or my kid. It's just a joke. That means I got to think of something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for people to be all, you know, up in arms about a joke, really, what is the joke? Did the joke end the war in you know, in the Middle East?
Right.
Was it that powerful? Then what you tripping over?
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before two something.